Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm acrylic artist Joni Young. If you're new here, thanks for joining and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint this pretty landscape using 2 or 3 colors. Light purple violet, which is this one right here, and it's a beautiful neon by the brand Holbein. And I'm also going to be using light ultramarine blue and titanium white. So hope you guys enjoy this video and learn lots and get inspired. I'm using a filbert brush right now with a little bit of water, and I'm just kind of playing around with the paint and moving it around. At this point I wasn't sure what I was going to paint yet. And well, I knew that I had a landscape in mind, but I wasn't sure in which direction I was going to go with it. So I'm just going to pull and push that paint around. And after I finish doing this, I am going to add a few drops of that light ultramarine blue. And I chose this color combination because it worked so well in my last video I did for Valentine's with abstract roses. It was an art therapy kind of art chat session, and the 2 colors I wasn't expecting to look that nice together. They really complement each other and kind of pop out. So I really wanted to do something again using these 2 colors. So I've just squeezed out a few drops here, and I'm going to pull and spread across the bottom, thinking I'm going to add some water and some trees. And then this will be a moon, so I'm going to pull that blue around, creating like a glowy haze from the moon. I'm just gonna keep pulling around up on angles and sweeping, getting lots of different types of brush strokes and directions going. Sometimes when we do this, we can start seeing a landscape or a picture take shape without even trying. And that's what happens to me. So I start envisioning something here. And yeah, at first it was going to be water, but you'll see how it transforms into more of a path. And then I add a little fence. So I'm just taking a little bit of white now, and I'm blending it softly into the moon. Because I just want to get more of a soft, creamy tone to the blue and balance out that hot neon purple violet. It's very intense, and when we have really intense colors, it's nice to have some balance with some pastels or mid-tones. In this case I'm using pastels, or making pastel with the white. And I'm turning my brush sideways, still using that filbert brush. You can use any size that you feel comfortable with using. In fact, you can use any brush you want. I tend to keep going back for the filbert brush lately. It's kind of like you can do everything with it. You can use it for waterfalls, trees, clouds, and all the foliage. So I don't really need a lot of brushes for my paintings. I'm finding the filbert brush is really a good go-to brush. So I'm just creating some trees now, making them smaller in the distance and larger for the foreground. That way we get some nice perspective going on. And I'm painting wet on wet, so I'm getting a few different colors and tones in there, light purples and blues and pinks. And this is why I enjoy painting wet on wet, because you get all those extra shades in there. Whereas if you wait for a layer to dry to begin another one, you skip all that and you lose out on those pretty little shades that you'd have to otherwise work really hard to get, that can be really time consuming if you were painting on a dry layer of paint, if that makes sense. That's probably why people enjoy oil painting. And I'm flicking up and down really fast to make it look blurry and softly blended down on the bottom. I still wasn't sure at this point if I was going to have it water down below, and so that would have made for a nice water reflection, adding a little bit more white. And then up and down really, really fast again. Barely touching the canvas. And if your paint is drying really quickly and you're unable to blend that softly, just take a little bit of water. So I'm going to add another tree over here. Actually, I'm going to have to pick up more of this purple violet. I've been going through it a lot lately. Which reminds me, thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. I've been purchasing a lot more of my favorite paints, and I got a brand new easel, so thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I'm adding some foliage here down on the bottom left, tapping and pulling, and you get a few different looks. Like the tapping will get you that foliage, and then when you pull, it'll look like maybe a shoreline or some beach or ground, kind of just seeping into the water. I'm going to get more of my light ultramarine blue. And tapping in. I just love the way that looks back there in the distance. Soft little taps. The brush really creates those nice little peaks of foliage and little bushes. And that purple violet is such a nice underpainting for this color. You know, sometimes I really like to just stick to greens and earth tones in my paintings, and then other times I'm feeling more intuitive and I need to express myself creatively with bright, bold colors. So art is very, very therapeutic for me, and I think you guys, if you're just starting painting, you're really gonna notice that in the next few months or so, or maybe you've already noticed that when you're painting, everything just kind of disappears, all your worries, you forget everything, time stops, and you become kind of just one with a paintbrush and the canvas. There's nothing else quite like it for me. That's why I just end up painting every day. If I try to make different plans and say, okay, I'm going to do something different today and I'm going to take a break, I always end up feeling like I need to do my art therapy and I need to have a little painting session. And I always film because I want to just share it with you guys and share my process with you and inspire you guys. When I was learning how to paint, we didn't have internet back then. But we had, of course, I'd go to the library and I'd read all the art books, and there were DVDs and stuff. But I developed my own style over the years, and this is one of them. And it's just simple, lighthearted landscapes using my favorite colors. I tend to paint a lot of trees and have either a sun or a moon. I love to have a nice light source that is calming to look at and can kind of draw you into the painting. And I usually paint a lot of water too. So I'm highlighting here with more of the white, pulling kind of streaks down below and tapping for some moonlight hitting some of those bushes. I'm going to add another tree right here. This one's going to be a little bit bigger. It's coming down lower, the tree trunk comes down lower, so that instantly brings it more into the foreground. So that's a tip for you guys if you want it to look like it's closer to you. Make that line, that tree trunk longer, more towards the bottom of the canvas. And then the higher up you go, the smaller the trees will look, or you can just make them really short. Tap in some more of that violet right here. And right here, I just decided I want it to be a fence and make that a pathway. This way, I feel like I can walk into the painting Whereas if it was water, it's not that same feeling, but when you put a fence there, it instantly becomes a nice path or a trail leading off into the distance. So I'm using the light purple violet for this, and then I'm just going to soften as they get further away. And then you can see I pull and slide my brush to make it flat and keep all those bristles nice and tightly together into the blue and the white, and adding a little highlight on the inside of each of those fence posts. And then they just kind of disappear off into the distance. I do so many of them that are all really, really close together. That gives you that perspective. And then some white, a little bit of blue, hide the bottom of those fence posts to make it look like they're in the ground and not just floating there. Just gonna add another little layer of the purple violet over here to make this tree stand out a little bit more. And a bit on the edge of the left side. Pick up some more of that blue. Dust it around and scumble. Define these little fence posts a little bit. Another little highlight, so small way back there, and then they get larger towards us, and I'm even having them kind of grow and tap up those fence posts. I'm going to take my little liner brush now so I can do just a few more little fine details. And yeah, so most of this painting was done just with a filbert brush, but to make it look like the fence goes way, way back there, I needed a smaller brush to do that. So I'm going to add a couple more little trees back here, a little bit lighter in color. So I've got the blue with just a little hint of that purple in there with a white. So I'm just finishing up the last little details on this painting, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me again. I hope you enjoy this video and want to try this yourselves. I can't wait to hear what you think of this. I really enjoyed painting it and creating it, and I'm so happy to have shared it with you all. Please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Happy painting, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video really soon. Bye!